What is goody, my step slimes, my home skillets? Today, I'm going to be teaching you the tips, tricks, and techniques to sampling old songs in FL Studio, so let's get right into it. So the first step in this process is knowing where to find your sample. I'm using YouTube in this case. I think it's the most practical for everyone that's trying to sample. Records are just quite a hassle, so what I did is I looked up 60s music samples, and from that there's a playlist I went into and I found this song by Otis Redding, Change Is Gonna Come. I won't play it for obvious copyright reasons, but this is the track I'll be using today, and I'll be playing you the edited version in FL Studio. So before we hop into actually sampling, let me talk about the legality of sampling. So you cannot just rip instrumental from A to B and use that free will, but what you can do is, if your sample is unrecognizable from the original, you're legal. So what you can do is alter things such as tempo, pitch, you can add effects, you can chop, things like this make it unrecognizable to the original. So I did some research and I found this application called ClipGrab. This is what I found to be most effective. And the way we use this is, once you do the download process, this window will pop up and you just type in the song you want to download as if it were the YouTube window itself. You click on it, and then you want to go over to the format. Original, it's just going to be on like a video setting at first, but you're going to want to change that to MP3. You don't have to worry about the quality like HD now because we're just doing MP3. You just go over to right here, grab this clip, click that, and then you choose where you want to download it. I'm going to put it in my downloads. I already have downloaded it earlier, but I'll just do it again for demonstration purposes. And just like that, the download's finished. Now the way I can bring this file straight into FL Studio is I can open my folders, go to my downloads, and then just drag this straight in, and it'll load just like that. So in order to detect the tempo on this, I'm going to right click this tempo up here, hit tap, and then as this plays I'm just going to tap along and find the tempo. And I'm going to find a couple sections here that I actually want to cut out. Here's a piece I found out to cut out from right here, and what I'm going to do is align it to the beat. So now I cut this up a little bit and align it more to each beat. I'm going to go into the clip itself, over here to the declicking mode, and I'm just going to choose like a smooth bleeding or like a generic bleeding, just to kind of reduce the amount of like no volume in the piece, I guess I'd say. And now I'm going to like pitch it down, and I'm going to change the tempo a little bit. Here's what that sounds like now. And now I'm going to find a couple other parts in here to pull out. Alright, so before I explain what I did, the basis of this is just playing around. There's no right, there's no wrong to sampling. Things can sound jumbled, they can sound rushed, but that's all up to you. That's your feel. Similar to like when you're making a beat. But I'll break this down like this. So what I did was I chopped this up like this, just bring that to decay, played it again, and that's pretty much the original part right here. It's only chopped up to fit the beat a little nicer. And then I added this trumpet down low. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little variation here at the end. So for variation, I cut out a vocal sample, reduced the tails because I had some extra vocals in there, and just says "will you." So yeah, here's that ending. And yeah, that's my vocal sample. So now that I have the basis for my sample, what I'm going to want to do is change the tempo. So going up here, double clicking, over to the mode, clicking stretch, and then whenever I change the tempo up here, it's not going to alter the length of these. So I'm going to find a tempo I like. So now that I change the tempo, this is what it sounds like. Now that I have my main sample in, I'm also going to add the drums, so let's get it. So first off, I added the snare. I'm going to layer it with some white noise, just like something Kanye would do. What I'm going to do is add that bass. So I'm laying out the bass of the sample because the key isn't always obvious. Going in and just playing your notes up high when you're playing along with it, and that'll help you find the root note a lot easier than playing them normally down low. That sounded a little muddy, right? So what I'm going to do now is add this to mixer track and show you how I'm going to mix the sample. That has a lot more life to it. So I'll show you what I'm gonna do with the rest of the drums. So I'm gonna play that out, and here's what it's like pitch down. That's lit. So I'm taking this main part and I'm gonna do a switch up into pretty much, it's gonna be very similar. I'm just rearranging parts a little bit, and instead of this loop, I'm gonna be using trap hi-hats, and I'm gonna distort the 808 a little bit. And that's the end of this video. Hope you learned a thing or two about sampling. If you did, go try that shit out yourself. This is pretty dope. To the next one. Peace.